I don't tend to do videos on Ethereum very often, but today I thought I would change things up a little bit and talk about some concerns I have over the price action of ETH with regards to some on-chain data. This is stuff that I think is very important that retail investors know about, because I think this is going to be pretty damaging to the future of Ethereum. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us at Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. Link is in the description below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Let's jump right down into this video for Ethereum. Now, I'm quite well known, I guess, for not really liking Ethereum. And I don't like Ethereum not because of the use case. I think the use case is fantastic. I just think it's got some fundamental issues. These issues essentially make it the most expensive shitcoin. The fact that it can cost, $200 to move $100, for example, during a bullish market. And that some of these issues are really just around greed, and they're not really anything more than that. It's a pricing structure and a bidding system on the ecosystem. So it's more of a fundamental thing that could be changed if the community wanted it to. Other than that, it's got a thriving community, it's got a thriving ecosystem, and it's got some potential, right? It's just that it's too expensive for the everyday user to be using now, and so changes should be made. Now, there are some underlined issues that I have, outside of this as well, and these are around the fact that I think there's I guess a migration happening. Okay, people are leaving Ethereum, and it's happening at quite an alarming rate. And so people left holding ETH could potentially not be getting the returns that they think that they're going to be getting based on historical data within price action charts, right? So if you just take a look at the charts, it's not going to tell you any of this information. You're going to have to go elsewhere to find it. And so what I did is I pulled together some interesting metrics, on-chain metrics, for our members, okay? And this is something that all members have access to if they buy the data perk as a part of the benefits that you have with it, right? So what I mean here, guys, is if you go to membership.𝗕𝗘𝗪crypto.io, there's a link for it in the description below, and you become a member. There's many different tiers of memberships. The one that you need in order to be able to see this information is a data perk. Now, you can have the base pack plus data on its own, right? You have to buy this, and then you can buy this separately, okay? Or you can buy any of these packs, which basically none of them include access to the data. You buy the data separately, right? Anyway, nonetheless, I'm digressing. That's kind of how the ins and outs of working. If you're looking at that kind of stuff, join us in Discord. We can talk about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on over into the data area, and we're going to load up the Ethereum data, okay? This is on-chain metrics for Ethereum, okay, very similar to what we have done for BTC, Cardano, XRP, and so forth, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this actually bigger so that we can see it on the screen. I'll make it a little bit bigger using this button here, so we can see it better for the video. Okay, let's let this one load in. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we have an overview of Ethereum. Okay, this gives us the kind of the idea of the all-time high, how many days it's been since the all-time high. It's the fact that it's 61.68% down from its all-time high, the average gas fee, the average transaction value, which is $1,820. Yet the fees in the last 24 hours, you've got, and that's in ETH, by the way, guys, 2,449.51 ETH in the last 24 hours, or $4.5 million in fees in the last 24 hours. And this is my biggest problem that I have with it. Even in the bear market, these fees are stupidly high. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of transactions. In fact, there were 954,000 transactions, which is pretty good, right? There's 444,000 active addresses out of a total of 100 million addresses. Market cap being the market cap at 224 billion and 120 million in circulating supply. So overall, the stats are there, and we can see fee structures are reasonably high. Now, if I come on over into the exchange-based data, this is going to show us some interesting things that are going on with ETH, right? right? And shows us over the last 365 days the total amount of ETH on inflows and the total amount of ETH on outflows, right? So 102 million goes onto exchanges, 108 million comes off of the exchanges, basically meaning that 6 million has left the exchanges total, which is actually a pretty reasonably bullish thing to be thinking, right? And again, you have a 30-day change of 216,000, and 90-day change, if I can talk here, of 633,000, 1.2 million in the last 180 days, right? Pretty impressive. There, of course, is one big change here that my data source changed on the 6th of February. So you can see this big drop here. It's basically just a difference of different exchanges that are being taken into consideration. Moving over into liquidation side, we can see $5.5 million of liquidations on Ethereum in the last 24 hours, with the exchange with the most liquidations being OKX, and they had total liquidations of $3 million. Essentially, 70% of positions were long positions that were liquidated, and 29.82% were short positions that were liquidated. Now, OKX takes the top spot by quite a margin. In second spot is Binance down here on the low side at only $755,000 of longs, 459,000 of short, and a total of $1.2 million of liquidations. So you can see it's less than half that of OKX. OKX has clearly got a margin when it comes to leverage trading on Ethereum. Okay, and you can see how they liquidated the majority of positions. So just to kind of put this into kind of context for you guys, OKX was 54.9% of all Ethereum liquidations, and Binance was 21.94. Okay, so there's a huge gap there between the two. So you can see that, you know, maybe something's happening at OKX. Maybe OKX is actually only one being truthful about their liquidations. Maybe Binance and 𝗕𝗄𝗪 and Bybit, maybe they're not being as truthful, right? And so there's a few things here we just take into consideration. Now, this is an incredibly important chart. This is because this is the data that we use to spot FTX, but ahead of time, we saw FTX doing $850 million of liquidations in 24 hours, and alarm bells were ringing, and we were basically saying something was up at over at FTX. Maybe they need the money. Maybe it's time to probably start thinking about withdrawing our funds off of FTX and start shorting FTT. That was a week before any of that stuff actually came out and started to see FTX collapse. So there's some opportunity by reviewing this kind of data. But that's not even what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today are the wallet counts, and the wallet counts are incredibly interesting. Now, for Ethereum, we have wallet counts that go from the low side of 0.001 all the way up to 1 million units per wallet. So how much ETH you have per wallet and how many wallets there are with that amount of ETH, right? And this is important. So, for example, this is 1,000 ETH per wallet, right? Updated for yesterday, 6,660 wallets that have at least 1,000 ETH in them. And you can see the percentage change over the little period of time, right? So it's actually reasonably flat over a 365-day range. It's actually down 0.95. That means that they're not really accumulating over that year period. You can also see in the last 180 days, they're down 4.88%. In the last 90 days, 5.44%. Okay, and then you can see over the last 30 days, 0.5 and then 0.1, but they're all down. This isn't a simulation, a symbol or a signal that essentially large investors in ETH with 1,000 or more ETH in their wallet are decreasing. They're coming out of Ethereum. And where are they going, right? They're not necessarily sticking around in ETH. And so we have to kind of consider, let's go up to the next level, the 10,000 Ethereum or more. And again, you can see here 1,230 wallets, although this is updated only 2 days ago. Each one of these takes a little bit different amount of time to aggregate, so this one will probably come through later today. If we can see down here, over the last 365 days, 5.31% down, 180 days down 6.11%, 90 days down 4%, 30 days down 0.8, and in the last 7 days down 0.3. This doesn't give me confidence in thinking that Ethereum is going to the moon when we see big, large institutional level investors like these coming out of their positions. And again, we can go and take a look at the 100,000 ETH or more, and it doesn't get any better from here. You can see that the 100,000 ETH or more wallets in the last 365 days are down 13.14%, last 180 days down 7.75%, last 90 days down 3.25%. In the last 30 days, they're actually up 0.85% and absolutely flat in the last 7 days. Let's go to the 1 million. 1 million ETH or more are actually doing reasonably well. Bearing in mind, this is a very, very wealthy individual or group of individuals or institutions. They actually, in the last 365 days, no change. There were 7 wallets back 365 days ago, and there are 7 wallets today. Okay, so flat. Over the last 180 days, they're up 16.67%. They grew 1 wallet. Flat on the 90 days. And again, fluctuating in the last 30 days, up 16.6, again going from 6 wallets to 7 wallets, and flat on the 7 days. Essentially what we see here over the last 365 days, wallets on the ETH side that have 1 million ETH or more per wallet have been going between 6 and 7 wallets. Basically one person coming in and out, coming in and out, coming in and out, just grabbing liquidity by the looks of it. So it looks like, for the most part, that most of these wallets are decreasing, unless of course we take a look at the lower side of the spectrum, this cheaper side, the kind of high net worth individual and the retail investor, right? These guys unfortunately appear to be the ones that are buying, because there's always a buyer, right? 1 ETH or more has gone up 12.39% in the last 365 days. 0.1 ETH is actually down to 27.22%, which is interesting, but flat on the last 7 days. 0.01 is up 2.63 in the last 365 days, up 6.62% in the last 180 days. 10 ETH or more is up 13.9% in the last 365 days, and 100 ETH is up 3.36% in the last 365 days. So there's a transfer occurring here. It's transferring between the larger investors to the smaller investors. And so therefore it makes you wonder, why are these large investors who have so much funding leaving Ethereum, and where are they going, right? And this is something that we can see when we start to actually review some other projects. So for example, if we take a look at the Cardano report, right, we can review where Cardano sits just from a wallet count point of view, and we take a look at these larger wallets, we can see that the 100,000 ADA wallet size has been increasing 4.93%. The million size has actually decreased 3.43. The 10,000 is up 21.4, and the 1,000 is up 31.64. The XRP side of things, again, just kind of reviewing where maybe this money is flowing to. On the larger side, you can see 100,000 XRP or more is up 26.13%. 1 million is up 14.29%. 10,000 is up 36%. 1,000 is up 31%. So maybe it's a case that people are abandoning Ethereum right now in favor of other projects like Cardano or XRP that are increasing at those larger levels, whereas things like Ethereum are actually decreasing, and decreasing at quite a rapid rate. So when I take a look at the price action and I start thinking to myself, well, the data doesn't give us the idea or the support that we need to see big movements to the upside in ETH, and instead we might actually just start to see some pretty large breaks to the downside. We do see a very overlappy corrective structure within our movement in the market here since our lows that did occur down here. If I get this snapped in place, there we go, June of 2018. Sorry, June of 2022, 18th of June, that should be. We can see that we have this kind of idea of a 3-wave pattern. It may still push up a little bit more here, but my concern essentially is that this thing is going to be dropping down pretty steadily, and maybe $500-$600 ETH is something that we need to kind of consider, something to kind of keep our minds open to anyway. I think Ethereum is in trouble. I think that if we do not start to see some more long-term holders at those kind of wealthier levels, I think Ethereum is going to be majority held by emotional retail investors, which could cause some pretty bad sell-offs as people start to panic sell their assets. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I think I'm going to leave this one there. If you found it useful and informative, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, then why not subscribe? And if you're looking to get access to this kind of data, why not check out membership.cheekycrypto.io. Link is in the description down below. I'll catch you all in the next one.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.